Alright, it looks like the meat is done. So at this point, we're going to pull it out. Wow, I thought I overcooked it, but I think it's going to be okay, because we're not going to be eating it like just like steak. We're going to be eating it as meat inside a beef red curry mix. So this is what it looks like right now. And all I'm going to do is actually slice it into like little pieces. If you can see that. Yeah, we'll slice it up. Oops. Cameraman is having issues here. Alright, here we go. So get rid of that. Yeah, it's a little cramped in here working and trying to film. But I'm just going to cut little thin slices like this. So really, really thin slices, and you use that inside the curry. I suppose you could have thick slices, but I've never really seen them use thick slices. Mostly like thin little slices like this. I think in a lot of Asian cooking, they cut meat like really thin to make it stretch out, you know. So a little bit of meat seems like a lot, and that's kind of what we're doing here. You can see we didn't really have much meat to start off with, but we actually have more meat than we need for our meal. But I might use it all anyways because I love meat. Also, a little tip, I think if you cut meat with the grain, it tends to be stretchy, but if you go against the grain, like cross grain, the meat breaks up easier. Like, so you can see it's easier to cut it that way, and makes it less chewy too. Like when you go to eat it, it'll break apart easier. Still a little red right there, but it's okay. It's going to be cooked up. Look at that. There's a lot of meat. I'm not going to make that much of the red curry beef because I only have one can of the coconut milk. And you kind of need that coconut milk. I might even have to not use all this meat. Let's have a taste. It's so good. And it is good. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I'm going to set aside some of this meat just to snack on. It's a lot of meat. Really, in theory, if you were trying to stretch your budget, you could buy like, you know, the pot roast meat or just a slab of meat like this and cook it up, cutting little strips like this. What that would allow is, if you bought a $9 slab of meat, you could probably make as much as 10 or 20 meals out of it. It's like less than $1 per meal, and you get like real meat, not some processed stuff. So it's a way to stretch your budget and eat very well. This food is very good. These chunks with fat on them, I'm just going to snack on. And that looks so good. It's basically steak. This is good stuff. Look at that. This is good. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, I have my pot right here, which I'm going to put the meat in. I might have too much meat. Oops, just lost a piece. I think that might be enough. I mean, let's use it all. It's going to be super chunky with meat. Okay. Once you've got the meat in there, I think the order's not so important. I am going to go ahead and open up the coconut. Because we do kind of need, we need the coconut juice. So let me get that open with our can opener here. And I'm going to add the coconut juice first, or the coconut milk juice, not juice, coconut milk first, because I want to make sure that I have liquid. You don't want to make this, you know, it's kind of like a broth. The red curry is kind of like a broth mix. You don't want to put in so much dry stuff that basically if you put in the meat and the vegetables and everything like that, you could end up with not a broth. I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat on to maximum. Pour in the coconut milk. You're supposed to mix that up, but I guess I can stir it up later. Yeah. You might be wondering, like, if the brand matters. I haven't really noticed too much differences. I go with the cheapest one as long as it says coconut milk and not, you know, it's the white stuff. It's not like coconut juice or whatever, where they basically have the water, coconut water. So this is just the meat in here right now. It is on high mode, and you can see it doesn't have a lot of room for other dried stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of this Dynasty bamboo shoots. Basically, I'm going to open that up too using the can opener. Those of you who like to see action shots. Basically, we're just going to use the can opener and just open this thing. Now, in theory, if you wanted to, this could be it. You don't really have to. You don't have to add all the stuff that I'm going to be adding. And honestly, I don't think I can add that much because I'm looking at how little. Getting rid of the water that's in there for the bamboo. But I do like bamboo, so I'm going to add all of the bamboo. And since I can't really save this, I will go ahead and pour all of this in here. And really, I've seen people make this mostly like this. It's mostly bamboo and hardly anything else in there. So we got the bamboo going in. You could essentially have this as your curry. And honestly, I'm looking here and there's not much liquid left. You might need to add some water, believe it or not. That's gonna dilute it a bit. But I'm thinking I probably need to add a little bit of water just because there's. Ideally, I would have had two cans of coconut milk, but I didn't. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of water, and that should dilute it, you know, enough for me to add the other stuff. It won't taste as coconutty. So I'm basically looking for my frozen veggies. Okay. I don't have a lot of room for frozen veggies in here because I don't want it to be chunkified, so I'm only going to add a little bit, only a few. Alright, I think that's enough. You don't want this to lose its you want it kind of soupy basically. So this is in here now, and you know what? I'm looking at how much is in here already, and I don't think I'm gonna add any of the onions. Let me look and see if I have any tomatoes though. I will add tomatoes. Found some Roma tomatoes, which I'm gonna wash. And then I'm going to cut and put into there. Here goes our tomatoes. Oops. Put chunks of tomatoes in there. All right. Already starting to look good, and we haven't even added the curry. curry is what really brings out the flavor. You know, the curry is super, super spicy. So let me get some curry here. I'd be wondering what happened. I put everything back up because it took about, I had the meat cooking for about 30 minutes. Now, I like things kind of hot, like really, really hot. So what I'm going to do is add all this curry right here, about a tablespoon. Just mix it in there. It'll give it a nice color, but it'll also make it hot. And you know what? You can tell how much you want to add by how hot you want it. I'm looking at it. It's kind of mixed up right now. See that? You want to make sure that's all broken, because otherwise if somebody bites into a chunk of curry, it's not going to be good. Okay. And I'm going to let that boil up. Looking at it. Debating if I want to add more curry or not. I think I will add just a little bit more. It gives it more of an orange color, but also makes it a little bit more of a kick. Alright. And that is our beef curry pretty much done. You can actually throw in mushrooms, you can throw in anything you want. There's no set rules on what you have to add. The main thing you have to have is curry, okay? This is, for those of you wondering what it is, it's red curry paste. They sell this bottle pre-mixed already, but I don't like those. You don't get a lot. They charge a lot of money, and all they did was add some coconut water to the curry, I think. So, to finish off the flavoring for this, you have to add a little bit of fish sauce. That'll give it some saltiness. This is Lucky Fish sauce. And then some sugar for sweetness. This is a brand new bottle, by the way, in case you don't know. You have to take a knife and cut the tip off here. If you go buy this at the Asian restaurant or whatever at Thrifty, and you're like, why doesn't it squirt out? You have to cut the tip off or poke a hole. I have cut the tip and poked a little hole. I don't know if you can see the hole here. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little hole there. But anyhow, I'm going to squirt some in here. Basically, how much? It depends on how salty you want it. I think that's enough right there. I'd say about a tablespoon or two. Maybe a little bit more. Alright. So basically, it's almost done. There's only one more thing missing to complete the flavor. And believe it or not, that is sugar. This is some sugar I got from Walmart. It's, I don't know what they called it, but it wasn't like, it's supposed to be pure cane sugar, but it's kind of yellowish brown instead of just white. I don't think it's been bleached is what it is. And I'm just going to add some of that. Like, that's quite a bit. Yeah, you want to make it kind of sweet and sour a little bit. And that's essentially it, folks. Now it's a matter of letting it boil up. What I'm going to do before I let it boil up is I want to stir it up a little bit and kind of mix the ingredients. And while this is cooking, I'm going to cook up some rice. Doesn't that look good? Look at that. Fresh stuff. Oh, I bought some basil leaves. Let me throw that in. I don't know if it's basil or bay leaf to make it more official looking. See if I can find it. Yeah. I bought this stuff from Walmart the other day. It's called bay leaves. And I think it's bay leaves that they use. I'm not sure if it's bay leaf that they use in this. But I've seen in the restaurants, they toss like a leaf or two in there. So, I just bought these fresh from Walmart. And I'm going to... Oh man, this whole thing just fell apart here. I just opened it and the whole thing just fell apart. Anyhow, I have a couple leaves that I'm going to toss in. So let me wash the leaves off. I don't know if they really add flavor, if they're just there for looks, but I am going to toss in a couple leaves. Maybe one more for good measure. It was like 99 cents for this packet. There we go. Doesn't that look pretty? If nothing else, it looks really pretty. This is one of my most elaborate meals that I've prepared in here so far. I love having red curry, but it's kind of involved. And you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and cut up some onions. Just to finish it off, you know. I wasn't going to add onions, but I'm like, you know what? We're going to go all out with this meal. I am going to clean off my knife. Cut up some onion here. Just a little slab of onion, a couple slices. So let me cut. I don't even need to see it. Moving the camera back and forth is kind of a pain. So basically, I just cut up some onions here. And I'm going to throw that in. That'll add a little sweetness and some more texture and just make it really pretty looking. So you can see the meal is like cooking right up. Now, essentially the food is done. Okay, all we're doing is heating it up at this point because the main thing that needed to be cooked was the meat. All the other stuff will just get softer and the frozen veggies will heat up. So let me stir that in and mix that up. Doesn't that look good? And I am going to cook up some rice. So basically, the curry is done. I do need some kind of lid on this, and I don't think I have a lid handy. So we're going to adapt. We're going to get some aluminum. Just aluminum foil here. And just put it on here. That's my lid for now. I'm going to set this aside. Well, actually, I'll set it up front here because it's going to need to be accessible. And I'm going to basically cook up some rice. And that should do it. As you can see, I am cooking up quite a bit of rice to go with it. More than normal because this is going to last several meals. So basically, we're just going to heat up the rice on high. Once the rice is cooked, food can be served. So that's pretty much it. You can see this is boiling up nicely. I'm just going to turn the heat down on it. You don't want to have it boiling too much. I'm just going to turn the heat off actually and just let it sit. The main thing I wanted to do was melt the, in case you guys like looking at this food, the main thing you want to do is make sure that the frozen veggies aren't frozen. You know, you're thawing things out. So, look at that. Doesn't that look so good? I'm going to do a little tasting the curry mix, the sauce. And it is pretty spicy, but not super spicy. I think it needs a little bit more of a saltiness, so I'm going to add just a little bit more fish sauce. You wash the spoon here. I'm going to add some fish sauce, just a little bit more to give it a little bit more zing. Alright. And we'll stir it up some more. And we're starting to have some issues here. Alright, look at that. And what I did with my spatula thingy. Here we go. spoon. Alright. And I'm going to do another taste. Look at that. Doesn't that look good? I'm basically just tasting to see how the sauce tastes, because that's pretty much what makes this dish. And I think it's perfect. It's got the right amount of heat, the right amount of saltiness, and woo, this is good. This is gonna be good food. So I'm looking forward to having this as soon as the rice gets done. So stay tuned.